Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of a series we are calling All In. My name is April Carter, and I'm here with my fabulous colleague, Andrea Hill. And we're about to go all in. We're about to go all in with Lauren Reddy, or is it Reedy?
It's Reedy, but I go by Reddy and my company's Ready. So whatever you say, I will respond to.
Well, Lauren Reedy is ready.
Yes, forever.
Forever ready to go all in. But before we do that, we definitely want to thank our sponsors, Fox 13 Memphis, for being our exclusive media sponsor. And of course, Adams Keegan, who is our returning headliner, a sponsor for this event. So welcome, 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 Lauren.
Hey, I was dancing during that intro. It was
very good.
Yes. Yeah. Andrea and I were debating. It's like, can we dance a little bit in the background? But so thanks for giving us permission. We'll do a little shoulder work.
Way better than elevator music or hold music. I liked it.
So. Right.
Right. Fantastic. So, of course, we would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us what gets you excited about presenting at the Mid-South Nonprofit Conference.
Absolutely. First off, thanks for having me. And thank you to the selection committee for selecting me to speak at the conference. My name is Lauren Reedy, and I'm the owner and principal storyteller at Forever Ready Productions. We are a production company that serves mostly nonprofits. We also serve small businesses, but our real focus is working with nonprofits to help support their fundraising goals through video storytelling. And why I'm so excited to speak to this audience is because this is what gets me fired up. Recognizing my zone of genius, I see stories everywhere, and I see potential for how you can dig a little deeper and tell a different story than what your audience is used to hearing, especially as we have more in-person events like this conference. So I'm really excited to speak to this audience. It's a treat for me to speak to my home audience. I've spoken to audiences across the country and haven't had a chance to get a Memphis audience. And so I'm looking forward to hearing where nonprofits are and sort of brainstorming with them how we can tell different stories than we have in the past, which is hence why my session is called Untold Stories.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, first and foremost, can we please take one moment and just uplift and honor the phrase zone of genius? I am going to be using that one for a very long time. I love that, your zone of genius. What's your zone of genius, Andrea?
Ooh, I like people most of the time. And so it's
most of the time.
So anything that has to do with getting people on the same page and figuring out what is that best way for us all to make impact. And so it's a lot to say. Yes. I just want to see things change.
That's awesome. I love that.
Well,
how about you, April?
Oh yeah, right.
No, we're doing the interview for you. Let's not focus on that.
We're
got 5 minutes.
No, we're gonna circle back around to get her zone of genius. And I can already give a list of about 10 things I've seen in my time that I've known her. But the other thing that I've heard you say, and I know we have these questions ready for you, was the principal storyteller. I think that is so awesome. And so you as a principal storyteller in this particular session, can you give us a quick overview of your session and what our attendees can expect from you from being all in, and what can they bring to be all in your session?
Sure. Well, you could probably tell by my voice. Sometimes I have a tendency to go into accidentally my anchor reporter voice. I'm a former TV journalist. I worked at WMC Action News 5 for 3 years. Before that, a decade in television news. And so I talked about zone of genius. I see stories everywhere. And what I'm asking attendees to think about is, what is your untold story? And what that means is, what's the thing you haven't told your audience yet? And when we think about volunteers, recruitment, fundraising, all the things that nonprofits are doing, this question is meant to ask, what's the thing we haven't shared with your audience yet? A lot of times it's the thing that's right in front of you. And I do a little exercise if you come to my workshop where you tell a story about something that's on you, and then we relate that back to your organization. But in the day-to-day work that so many nonprofit partners do, they forget that the thing they do every day is something a lot of folks haven't heard about or haven't witnessed themselves. So I'm challenging folks to start there and then to dig a little bit deeper and think about a place where cameras aren't typically allowed, or to go a place where you wouldn't typically go to tell a visual story. So I'm asking those questions of participants. And because of my news background, I'm asking them to write a headline about their organization and then tell the story beyond the headline. Because how many of us have read the headline and then read the story and been like, wow, there's so much more there.
Yes.
That's really what I'm trying to get at, is we get in this habit of doing the same thing for our organizations every year, the same kind of video format because it's worked. And if there's one thing we've learned about the last 3 years is that it's not always going to work, especially now. We have to iterate, we have to change sort of how we're doing things. And so I'm challenged participants to think differently about their personal story, but also the work they do in the nonprofit they work for, and how that story can better be told to their audiences, new and old.
Ooh, I am getting so excited. Now I'm thinking about what is my headline. That's going to be our assignment after this session.
Yes.
But Lauren, so why is this so important specifically for the nonprofit sector? Why do nonprofits need to be in this session?
So many of our nonprofit partners had to iterate during the pandemic. Their events went away, how they fundraise and reach their donors went away, volunteers went away because we couldn't gather, or you could only volunteer from home. And so my hope is that this session rejuvenates folks to think differently about that story and stop telling the story from 3 years ago. It's not that the pandemic is over, but we are in a new spot. We're not in unprecedented times anymore. We're not dealing with the same things we were 2-3 years ago. And so my challenge is to think differently about that and reframe the storyline so that it is a more hopeful, call to action focused story. And, you know, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, well, I don't have a budget, or I don't have a big cinema camera, or I don't have this, this, and this. And so I'm challenging folks to use what they have. And that could be a cell phone, or that could be a video partner, or that could be a cinema camera. But I think it's for everyone. This isn't just a session for folks who have a video budget. It's a session for folks who want to think differently about the way they're visually telling the story of their organization.
Ooh,
Right.
that is so good, because one of the things Andrea and I were nervous about was whether or not we could get a Zone of Genius videographer to come in and do a Zoom interview. And it's so refreshing to know that we can use what we have
Yes.
and make it work.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing. I want everyone to know, like, sure, I would love to work with everyone in the room, right? That's just not possible, like literally physically not possible. And also everybody's budgets are different. The stages of growth are different. The focus is different. And so sometimes it just doesn't make sense to do that and go all in, pun intended, on a big budget project. But thinking about the story, you know, when we got on the call, you were like, oh no, we're going to have the video person on this Zoom interview. And I said, well, we're using what we have. And what matters is what we say, not necessarily how it looks, or that it's shot professionally. I'm using a Zoom camera right now, you know, a webcam. So hopefully the message that we spread to our audiences is what comes across, and not this perfect picture of a story that we've scripted.
That's great. And I really like that you said that, and, you know, don't give it all away, you know, in this time frame we have. So we want them to come to our conference on April 20th. But
you're right. No more.
no more. Like, it's over. No, but thinking about it not having to be perfect.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten to a place where we thought that, you know, even with your lack of capacity, you have to still be perfect. And so doing what you can with what you have, and really telling the why and giving the purpose, is really why people give, or why people come to volunteer, or why people do things. So, okay, I'm excited. Let me stop. I have the question to ask you. What are 3 words? And it can't be Zone of Genius, because that one you've already used.
Fair.
I know, dang it, no cheat sheet. Well, what are 3 words that would describe your facilitation style or the content of your session?
Interactive, energetic, and applicable.
Ooh,
Like
applicable. That
like
is
that one.
new.
Yeah,
It
I'm gonna dive into some real case studies, and we're gonna break down videos that we've done and show how we did it, why we did it, the intentionality behind it. So it's gonna be interactive. If you're an introvert, that's okay. You can still enjoy the session, I promise. You don't have to participate by speaking, but it'll be very interactive.
Ooh,
That's
our
something.
introverts are like, yay!
Face in the back and smile and take lots of notes.
Okay, so Lauren, last question. And we know all about the session. We know about your zone of genius, and this is going to be a really good session, but we want to know about you and what you choose to go all in. So we've got 4 choices. If you can only pick one, which one would you go all in on? Good food, a good binge-worthy TV series, good music, or a good book?
I'm going to have to say good music, because music can be enjoyed with other people and I'm an extrovert. And because food is food. I love food, but we can that's fine. As long as we got good tunes that are putting us in a good mood, like the rest can take care of itself. That's a hard one, y'all. That's a hard one.
That is good music. I love that. It can be enjoyed with other people. So let me put that at my number 4. So
What is yours? Food?
mine is either food or a good book.
Okay. I love reading, and so I get that, but I'm a drummer. So to me, music, I hear rhythms everywhere and stuff. Music is where it's at.
So you're giving us.
What about you? We didn't ask you. What's yours?
Ooh, I can't rank them because, we read for fun and read for like getting the work done is always at the top of the list. But
you're picking one.
But one, okay, one. I probably would have to go with good music too. Okay. And I know that doesn't sound like it's right, but anytime I get in my car after work and I turn on my radio, it's either 90s or the 80s, or it's the Pitbull station, and I'm just jamming down the road. So
I love it. I think I'd be in your car jamming too.
Come on, look, come on in. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. So get in your car and jam to the 80s, 90s, or the Pitbull station and join us April 20th at the University of Memphis for the Mid-South Nonprofit Conference. We're going to go all in with Lauren Ready, and a host of other guests. April 20th, so make sure you register. How do they register, Andrea?
So they can register. I wish I could say click here or like here or share here or subscribe. But I'm going to just tell you the website for you to register. It's www.midsouth-nonprofitconference.org. Again, that's www.midsouth-nonprofitconference.org. And look, you want to be there. There's 50 tickets left, and you want to be one of those last 50.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Lauren, for going all in with us. We will see you April 20th.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.